give us your recommendations. How should this local government, what should be the approach for those who think that if they get financial autonomy, they'll not be tied to the apron strings of governors who will then respect the fact that they are also elected, and as such they've got to do what they have to do as stipulated in the laws? Or should we come up with another strategy of making them maybe perform better?
My recommendations, I would like to see civil society play a much stronger role. Because when you say a local government is close to the people, it is not at an individual level. And who speaks for the people? Civil society, you need some organized voice to interface with local government. So I'd like to see civil society play a stronger role. I'd like to see a system of public accountability, a performance management system. And I think this is what the state government can really do. As we speak now, the Auditor General for local government in Lagos State, a very capable individual, by the way, very knowledgeable, he's an accountant, and he has even started to move the system in the direction of proper performance contracting. I mean, the kind of thing that we heard at the federal government, almost like a whisper. We heard the president has signed performance contracts with ministers. First of all, this is a meaningless arrangement. You don't sign performance contracts with ministers. They are your team. You sign performance contracts with the public. It is a promise to deliver to the public, not to your ministers. And if you notice, no one ever saw the details of those contracts. These things should be made public. I'm saying the state government, the governor, could agree with the local governments a set of targets against which the public will measure their performance. But there has to be sanction and there has to be reward.
Yeah, but the thing is, insofar as these local government chairmen are elected,
yes,
by the people,
yes,
that gives them a measure of independence by virtue of that act. So how would the governor question them? Because I think I've heard the Lagos State government even say, look, the way they exist, I'm not sure I can take certain actions against them.
You see, that's my problem with this business of autonomy. All systems in a country must function as an integrated unit. You can't be, can you imagine a local government chairman running his own programs and he decides that all he wants to do is just have cultural festivals with all his funds?
But what if
that's autonomy?
What if that's what the people are asking for?
This business of the people's voice must be measured against a development agenda.
Whose development agenda?
It's a collective decision, but it is not a question of, take a family, for instance. It's like asking members of the family, what do you want? And everybody says, let's just throw parties with our money. And say, okay, we'll do that because that's what the people want. There are some dictates of common sense. There are some dictates of international norms. There are dictates of development as all countries accept it. We know where we're trying to go. Okay, if your desire as a people is inconsistent with development, somebody's got to call that whole arrangement to order.
Yeah, but the fact that they're elected,
yes,
I'm not sure that means that they've got to run a completely different program from the main program of the state governor. Because whatever they do is supposed to be geared towards development ultimately. And so if the governor comes up with this policy, yeah, expectedly, the local governments will gain to the extent that the law allows them to. So being elected doesn't mean they have to go completely contrary to that. So if that were the case, wouldn't it be the same thing?
You see, the point is that there are no constraints on the other side. Fortunately, unfortunately, because it depends on how you look at it, local governments in Nigeria generally tend to be from the same party as the governor. We have a possibility now of a local government chairman coming from an opposition party to the government in the state. That individual can decide to play outright politics with the entire scheme. There's nothing to check him. And the more money he has, the more able he is to, in quote, be a constructive or a destructive force.
What about the people, the constituents? How powerful, how effective are they in this whole exercise?
They're not in the picture, really.
The constituents?
Yes, I mean, there's no, I mean, I'll ask you the question. If you're unhappy with programs of your local government or your local government chairman, if you discover that he has misused funds, what exactly can you do about it beyond going to court? The legal system does not work. He knows that your case will drag through the courts. He'll be out of office long before you get a judgment. So what exactly, where are the controls here?
Yeah,
this discrepancies,
Yes.
or this failure in system, does it not also turn the light back on the governors in the sense that they do not have a plan? Because if they do have a plan, when the local government chairmen come in, knowing that they are all supposed to be building one state, they would have something to key into.
You're describing a coordination failure. What essentially is that the governor and the local government chairman do not have a summit where they agree collectively that this is the plan and each individual chairman submits. I wouldn't argue with you that there's a problem there.
All right, Titula Ibrahim says, are you saying that you wouldn't have performed at all as the chairman if you hadn't been closely monitored by the state?
I'm not sure what her question means.
In terms of working with the governor and ensuring that your plans or your programs are not completely on a different path?
I don't want to be misunderstood as saying that local government chairmen will run riot if given autonomy, or that it is the state that constrains the activities of the local government. There's still a substantial amount of discretion in the hands of the local government chairman. I mean, one way or the other, I think I would have found a way to execute the programs that I thought were worthwhile.
Did you compare notes with your colleagues at the time while you were there? Were they of the same opinion in terms of how they functioned, whether or not they were able to do anything with or without the support of the government?
Sometimes we actually had meetings of local government chairmen. We exchanged ideas, but to the extent that the needs of each area are peculiar, you could only discuss these ideas in broad brush strokes.
Malaki Chijoke asks a question. It says, if the local governments are given autonomy, would there be anything lost?
I think with the present system of accountability, a lot will be lost.
So what should be changed?
As I said, they need to put in place a much better system of reporting, almost a live. People have to be able to track what has happened to funds. Such is the leakage in this country that funds disappear. And, like I said, nothing is peculiar to local government. The same thing happens at federal level, happens at local government level.